Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulullah, thumma ma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. This is your brother Zeeshan Suleman. As we know, Ramadan is a very special time of the year. It's a time when the Quran was revealed to mankind. And it's also very important events occurred, such as the Battle of Badr and the conquest of Mecca. Now, the early generations of the Muslims, what they would do is they would attach their hearts to the Book of Allah during this month. They would take advantage of that time and they would recite the Quran multiple times, completing it day and night. Imam Shafi rahimahullah, who was one of the great scholars of fiqh, he used to recite the Quran and complete it one time during the day and one time during the night. Some of the other companions and tabi'in, what they would do is that they would recite the Quran every 3 days and complete it. And when the last 10 nights of Ramadan happened, they would seclude themselves in itikaf and they would recite it once every day. Now, they used to have their hearts attached to the Book of Allah and purify their souls. Uthman radiallahu anhu, he said, a very profound statement. He said, if our hearts were purified, we would never be satisfied by reciting the Book of Allah. Now ask yourself the question, when was the last time you recited the Book of Allah from cover to cover? I mean, every time we recite the Quran, it's usually during a special occasion, someone's death, maybe a graduation, some kind of special occasion that happens, and then we put the book back on the shelf and dust accumulates until the next Ramadan. But what was it that changed the Sahaba from being the lowest of people to the highest of people? Because the Sahaba, who are known as Arabs, were illiterate, like savages, and they were amongst the people who were burying their daughters alive. And then they had this transformation that changed them to the highest of people, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving them that title, radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with Allah. So what is it that changed them, gave them that inner transformation? It was the Book of Allah, reciting the Quran, which changed them from being the lowest to the highest. When the Prophet ﷺ left this world, he did not leave behind any articles or any books. Neither did he leave behind a university made out of millions of dollars. But the greatest product the Prophet ﷺ left behind was Quran inscribed in the hearts of thousands of men. That was the greatest product of the Prophet ﷺ, the Sahaba, who carried the message of Islam all around the world. And what changed them was the Quran. In the month of Ramadan, we have the opportunity to reconnect with the Book of Allah. Just like we need to feed our body by eating food and exercising in order to keep our body strong, we also need to purify our souls, and we do that by reciting the Book of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, "Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub." Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Nothing in this world can give you that inner satisfaction like that of the Book of Allah. And no materialistic gain you get, whether it's money or a car or a house or a person, will give you that peace and contentment and happiness like that of reciting the Book of Allah. So make a schedule during Ramadan where you can recite the Book of Allah in an organized manner. So for example, you can be reciting 4 pages of the Quran after every Salah. So after Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib and Isha, you recite 4 pages. And by the end of the month, you will have completed the whole Quran at least once. Do something that's very practical, and you want to increase on that gradually. And make sure that you also stick to this plan, so it will also benefit you after Ramadan leaves us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us to recite the Book of Allah and help us implement these tips that we have learned today. Assalamu alaikum.